We're all familiar with the Pro Q3, Softube's various emulations, and some indie success stories, like with Oak Sound's Soothe 2. However, with so many new plugins and the intense hype surrounding specific ones, it's easy to overlook some fantastic tools. Now with that in mind, let's look at some plugins that have fallen through the cracks and cover 6 criminally underrated audio plugins. Now quick side note, I definitely haven't used every plugin that's out there, so if you have any recommendations or plugins that you think are underrated, let me know. Also, this video has no sponsors, these are just plugins I want you all to try since they're good. Now first, we have the Ultra Channel by Eventide. Based on the simple interface, you wouldn't expect this plugin to be this effective. It almost looks like a stock plugin, however, the quality of each module is surprising and it adds up to something great. The top section includes a simple gate, a compressor with optional saturation and the ability to switch to de-essing, another compressor similar in tone to Eventide's Omnipressor, and a 5-band EQ. These 4 modules could be rerouted, although I find that the initial routing is really easy to work with. At the bottom, micro pitch shifting and stereo delay add body and width to the signal with a subtle saturator at the output that ties everything together. This isn't a channel strip that drastically changes the timbre. Each module is incredibly clean, subtle but effective. With everything enabled and functioning however you see fit, the result is surprisingly close to a finished sound. I find this especially true for vocals where I only need to add a reverb and maybe an additional saturator for some character. It genuinely sounds professional, but I never see this plugin talked about, so let's take a listen to it on a vocal. Notice how it brings it forward, it adds polish, and it controls it in a way that would typically necessitate multiple plugins.
Don't waste my time. You talk in circles, say the same thing twice. And how you word it wouldn't change my mind. I'm sleepwalking awake, been vacant for days, that's right.
Next is Elephant by Voxingo. So I've been trying to get people to use this limiter since I first tried it. It's the cleanest, most versatile limiter available. The various modes have since become pretty commonplace with a lot of limiters, but the level of control that you get with the mode editor is still unparalleled. Everything from the reshaping of transients and tonal elements to the ratio of the attack and release shapes to the knee and various expansion modes can be edited. It's a lot to get the hang of at first, and admittedly, I'm still finding new tones to achieve with this plugin, but once you're comfortable with it, you don't want to use another limiter. It doesn't look amazing, but no one sees the plugins that you used to make a great master. So, let's use it to absolutely smash some drums. Of course you wouldn't want to do this, but notice how well it retains the timbre despite the horribly aggressive processing. Up next is Infinistrip by PSP. PSP AudioWare is known for their plugin Vintage Warmer and Vintage Warmer 2, which makes sense, it's genuinely one of the best sounding saturators that's out there. But their Infinistrip plugin, a zero latency 500 series emulation, is phenomenal. It includes multiple emulations for preamps, filters, dynamics and compressors, limiters, and more. Now personally, I really enjoy how a particular era could be emulated and how eras can also be mixed and matched. For example, I could use this 1073 preamp emulation with an FET compressor and a channel EQ for a transistor-saturated 70s rock sound. Or I could use this 60s Altec preamp with optical compression and a retro EQ for a classic, smooth, and slightly lo-fi sound. Or if you just want to control the signal without altering its timbre, you have colorless gain, filters, and even dynamic EQ instead of a emulated compressor. Each processor could be muted, rerouted, and soloed, again with zero latency for transient retention and the ability to use it in a live setting or during recording. So let's take a listen to a chain used to emulate a classic sound.
Don't waste my time. You talk in circles, say the same thing twice. And how you word it wouldn't change my mind. I'm sleepwalking awake, been vacant for days, that's right.
Real quick, Sage Audio is an analog mastering studio. We've been around for 20 years, and mastering with us costs $49 a track. There's a link in the description and an ad at the end of the video if you'd like to learn more. Next, let's cover Equalizer 4 by Tone Boosters. Tone Boosters creates modern plugins with phenomenal user interfaces, low CPU, and versatility while remaining user-friendly. Equalizer 4 will likely draw comparisons to the Pro Q3, and that's fair, except it's a fifth of the price. Plus, if you wanted the Pro Q3, it's harder to purchase now, since FabFilter only offers the 4th generation of that plugin. You can create up to 16 filters, all of which have a dynamic functionality with variable attack, release, ratios, automated gain adjustment, and optional saturation specific to the frequency range you're affecting. A piano roll at the bottom helps snap center frequencies to specific notes, and the mix amount adjusts the filters instead of utilizing some parallel processing with linear phase. Lastly, EQ Assist is available for various genres, which is a nice option to have. Let's take a listen and notice how the quality is on par with plugins that are 5 times the cost.
Don't waste my time. You talk in circles, say the same thing twice. And how you word it wouldn't change my mind. I'm sleepwalking awake, been vacant for days, that's right.
Up next, we have Opal by UVI. This plugin got some mediocre reviews when it first came out for not having an internal sidechain. Although I could see why that would deter some users, it's still, arguably, the best LA2A emulation. 7 different models vary the compressor's response to transients and the release shape, each allowing for a unique timbre while still maintaining the sound of an LA2A. Additionally, the responsiveness can speed up or slow down the original behavior of the attack and release, while mid-presence and treble allow you to alter the frequency response. Tube saturation and drive introduce asymmetrical saturation to emulate the tubes used in the original unit, but you could turn this off if you want a cleaner sound. Again, it sounds impressively like an LA2A, but different eras of the unit could be used, while additional controls introduce versatility. To me, it seems like the logical progression for the LA2A, but I rarely see this plugin discussed. Let's take a listen to it.
Don't waste my time. You talk in circles, say the same thing twice. And how you word it wouldn't change my mind. I'm sleepwalking awake, been vacant for days, that's right.
Last up is Coldfire by Arturia. So this might be the most versatile saturation plugin that's out there. It could range from subtle emulation to the complete alteration of the signal's dynamics, timbre, and even timing and the performance itself. You'll notice 2 distortion windows, each offering 11 types of distortion. You could use identical distortion models or vary them to create a complex sound. Additionally, the routing could be in series, parallel, mid and side, split between 2 channels, and more. There are so many options that you'll probably never discover everything this plugin can do. Pre- and post-saturation filters give you additional practical and creative control. A dynamic section can vary from stereo compression to multiband compression or limiting. Meanwhile, feedback could be applied to one of the distortion models or both. Lastly, the advanced section allows you to link various modulation effects, like an envelope follower or LFO, to any other parameter in the plugin, something similar to Saturn II, but geared towards creativity and unique effects. A massive number of presets helps you get started, which we'll use to showcase this plugin's versatility. So let's take a listen and notice how drastically this plugin can alter the signal. Get professional analog mastering that accurately translates what you hear in your head. Seriously though, when people work with us, they get results. That's why major industry professionals like Keith Urban's producer Aaron Schurz works with us, Grammy award-winning AJ Castillo, Billboard #1 charted artist Megan Lindsay, Grammy award-winning artist Tulis, The Voice singer Cody Ballou, Grammy-nominated producer Tyler Kane, Warner Music artist Ricky Young, and the list goes on. Why waste your time creating masters that don't accurately translate what you hear in your head when you could instantly fix a problem by clicking the link in the description and working directly with professionals who have already done what you're trying to do? We've mastered thousands of songs that accurately translate what each client hears in their head, and it'll work for you too. Click the link in the description now and get direct access to us for personalized analog mastering that accurately translates what you hear in your head.